This meeting to order and ask everyone to please rise for Pledge of Allegiance and prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. John, if you lead us in a prayer, please.
Heavenly Father, we come to you at this time, Lord. We just ask that you give us guidance, give us patience, and give us courage. We just ask that everything we do and say in this meeting today would bring honor and glory to you. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen. All right, this time before I start roll call, I ask everyone present to please put your electronic devices such as cell phones or anything else on silent, please. I am present. Alderwoman Dent.
Here.
Alderman Bolerjack is absent due to work. Alderman Whalen.
Here.
Alderman Letchworth.
Here.
City Administrator Burbridge.
Present.
City Clerk Culler. City Attorney Weber. Public Works Director Payne. Chief of Police Chase. Finance Director Stacy Houston. And the only other staff I see is Miss Melissa Du Bois from Parks and Rec. All right, next item up is approval of tonight's agenda.
Go ahead.
I make a motion to approve the agenda with the removal of the closed session.
I second the motion.
I will call for the vote. Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
Alderwoman Dent.
Yes.
And Alderman Letchworth.
Yes.
And next item up is the approval of the consent agenda.
I don't have a problem. I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I second the motion.
I will call for the vote. Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
Alderwoman Dent.
Yes.
And Alderman Letchworth.
Yes.
Next up, we have public comment. I believe we have a couple people who are supposed to present. Oh, not under public comments, just under the regular street closures. Okay. Okay.
So, request for road closure, 100 Acre Wood Rally.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. And no one's here.
No, Rob is here.
Rob's here.
There's Mr. Rob.
Rob, sit up front. I'm getting older.
Yeah. Good evening, Board and Mayor. We are revisiting the request for the closure of the roads immediately around the courthouse. You weren't able to take a vote on that the last time I presented, so I'm assuming that's all that needs to be done this evening is a vote on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Rob.
Yes, thank you.
This time, do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve Mr. Benowitz' request for the road closure for the 100 Acre Wood Rally.
I second the motion.
No further discussion. I'll call for the vote. Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
Alderwoman Dent.
Yes.
And Alderman Letchworth.
Yes.
Next up is our annual audit.
You're welcome.
Report. Thank you, Rob. Ms. Krista DeLuca, come on up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We need it.
I do see some new faces. So there are 40 pages here. I'm not going to read all of them to you. I just want to show you the main components so that when you look through it later, you'll kind of know what's in there. If I'm going too fast and you have a question, stop me.
Okay.
So to get started, this is your audit report for the fiscal year ending June 30 of 2024. If you'll turn to page 1, you'll find the independent auditor's report.
Okay.
The city received what we call an unmodified opinion. That's the best of your possible choices. But what it means is that after I performed the audit procedures, I feel that these financial statements are fairly stated. Okay? Those statements get started on page 5 with the statement of net position. This shows you your assets, liabilities, and net position for the city as a whole. It's separated between governmental activities and business type activities, but the city as a whole is reported in the total column on the far right.
Okay.
Okay, so the first subtotal shows you total assets on June 30th were $34,910,000. In the middle of the page, you'll find the liabilities. On June 30th, those were $10,753,000. And the very bottom line shows you your net position for the fiscal year was $24,970,000. Okay, the next statement shows you your revenues and expenses for the year. Okay, this is also for the city as a whole. It's separated between governmental activities and business type activities, and it also goes a step further on the left-hand side, and it breaks it down by program. And they do this to try to show you how each program or department is operating on its own before you add in general revenues and transfers, okay? But if you look on page 7, the third line from the bottom shows you your governmental activities had an increase in net position this year of $1,475,000, and your business type activities had an increase of $2,604,000. Okay? Statement 3 on pages 8 and 9, this is the balance sheet. It shows you your assets, liabilities, and fund balances for the individual governmental funds. So this is just giving you more detail by fund, and it reconciles back to statement 1. Okay, statement 4 is similar, but it's going to show you the revenues and the expenses for your governmental funds. Okay, that's on pages 10 and 11. Here, the third line from the bottom shows you the increase or decrease for each fund for the year. So for example, the general fund had an increase in fund balance of $1,036,000. Park had an increase of $161,000. Okay? Statement 5 on pages 12 and 13 breaks down your assets, liabilities, and net position for your business type activities. And then the total goes back to the same as statement 1. This is just giving you more detail. Okay? Statement 6 gives you the revenues and expenses for those business type activities. The third line from the bottom shows you the electric fund had an increase in net position of $1,557,000. Water had an increase of $459,000, and so on. Okay? Statement 7 is the last one I'll go over with you. It is the statement of cash flows. This shows you what happened to your cash during the year. Activities that use cash, activities that provided cash. You're only going to see this in there for your business type activities. You don't have to do it for your governmental funds. 2/3 of the way down, you'll see the double underline there. That shows you your cash balance at the end of the year. But if you look above there, you'll see the line that says net increase or decrease. And that shows you by fund what happened. So for example, electric had a net increase in cash of $1,272,000. Water had an increase of $16,845. Okay? The last thing I want to point out are the notes to the financial statements. Those get started on page 20. There's about 20 pages of footnotes. These are required to be included, and there is some useful information in there. I'll admit it's hard to read, but if you have questions about a significant balance or the accounting method used to report some of these numbers, you can find it in here. Okay? Or you can just reach out and I'll explain. That's a lot of information to throw at you, I know. Do you guys have any questions today?
No.
I don't think they have any at this time.
My contact information is in there on page 1. If you have anything later or want to go over anything, don't hesitate to reach out.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you
Kristen.
prefer phone call or email?
Either.
Okay.
Either works fine. If I'm with another client, email might be faster.
Okay.
I can't always answer, but
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item up is the surplus of a transformer.
We actually have a bid approval.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You put it up before? Okay.
server bid approval.
Let me add that to my list here.
Good evening, Mayor, Aldermen. This is a quick staff summary. We are requesting to sell, we've identified the need to sell a transformer that was originally purchased for the Al Brown Fields. Primary voltage of 7,200, secondary voltage 277, primarily used in lighting circuits for parking lot or street lights, but it was not capable of doing what we needed it to do with the lighting setup at the Al Brown Fields. So to offset the costs of the replacement the proper transformer, we would like to ask to put this on for auction or sale. So.
Okay.
And if I may add, Mayor, the intent is to actually shop this through MPUA, and then I'm also going to reach out to Intercounty and see if they'll shop it through the Associated Electric Co-ops,
Oh, okay.
Okay,
rather than just regular surplus auction.
okay.
All right. This time, do I have a motion? Accept staff's recommendation, surplus.
I make a motion to accept staff's recommendation to sell surplus
Sing-
transformer.
Yeah, single-phase transformer.
One single-phase transformer.
I second the motion.
There's no other questions. I will call for the vote. Alderman Letchworth,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dent,
Yes.
and Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, now let's back up a little bit there. We go on to the bid approval for the servers. Backwards.
Okay, so this item, as you all are aware on the board, our servers have kind of reached their end of life for Microsoft. And then we also have Tyler Technology, the company behind Encode, our software, that is also kind of coming saying, okay, they're outdated, we're going to no longer service those. So we did do a request for bids process, a formal process. Those details are in the procurement section here. We sent it to at least 3 companies that we knew who did this type of work, as well as advertised it, and we got 1 bid back. So at this time, staff recommends, and this is in consultation with Craig Consulting,
Right.
that our recommendation is for the board to move approval of the bid from Resolve IT in the amount of $47,052 for replacement of the city servers. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Like I said, we only got the 1 bid, so there's not a lot I can.
Right. Do we need a motion?
Yeah, I was just reading over it
Yeah, well, I think we do.
because I seen the.
Yeah,
the
after
overage, but
Craig's
they were getting it for
presentation, I don't
CIP.
think we have any choice.
Yeah. Well, at this time, do I have a motion from staff to accept the bid for our server from Resolve IT for the amount of $47,052?
I'll make a motion to approve the bid for the server.
I second that motion.
At this time, I'll call for the vote. Alderman Whalen,
Yes.
Alderman Letchworth,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dent.
Yes.
All right. Now, moving right along back on schedule. hazardous mitigation amendment.
Okay, so working with our engineer, Archer Elgin. My apologies, Brian. So Brian was in the audience if you guys had questions for him. Sorry about that. After the flooding that happened in November of the wastewater treatment plant, they were working with us and identified this state emergency management hazard mitigation grant program. And so assisted with filling out the application for this. We have applied. Again, applying doesn't commit us to anything. But in order to do that, what we needed, and we verified this through SEMA, to amend our hazard mitigation plan. And so we have a plan that's with Dent County, Salem and Dent County all together. And so this just added an additional task for the city of Salem, related specifically, and you see the task, it's there in your packet, it's the next document. So action 2.9, the amendment to the mitigation plan, adding activities to safeguard the wastewater treatment plant against
Okay.
future flooding. So we amended that, we submitted it in, but we do need you guys to go ahead and ratify that, that amendment. And then, like I said, the grant is submitted, and so we just kind of are now waiting to hear back. So that's what this is, just amending that,
Okay.
ratifying that amendment.
I see the city match is $375,000, correct?
Yes, but the application is 1.5 million. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
And-
if we did get approved, where will we?
Well, we'll have to work that into the budget.
Okay.
But again, this would raise some of the concrete barrier walls around the different components of the wastewater treatment plant. So the clarifiers, the oxidation ditch.
Yeah.
Right, elevating the electric panels so they would be out of that flood zone in a future.
So in case of another flood, we would be protected,
Yes,
correct?
Correct.
yeah. Given that the wastewater treatment plant is such a critical piece of infrastructure,
Yeah.
you know, we have to keep it going, period. And so this would help us in the event of another flood.
What's that like saying we'd be at the creek without
So I'll make a motion to ratify the amendment. Is that what you said we're doing here?
Right.
Yes. Or approve the amendment.
Approve the amendment.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
This time I'll call for the vote. Alderman Letchworth,
Yes.
Alderman Whalen,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dent.
Yes.
The next item up is Resolution 4-2025.
Resolution number 4-2025, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute contract change order number 1 between TriCat, the city of Salem, Missouri, and Judy Kaiser of property located at 403 East Hunt Street, Salem, Missouri.
Thank you.
So this item, this is the last remaining home in the Welcome Home Program.
That's what I thought.
All of the others have been closed out at this point, and we've been reimbursed, so this is the only one still hanging out there. So on this, there was work that was in the original scope of work that was replacing ceiling tiles in the house. The contractor didn't get that done, and the homeowner says, I don't want them going back in there at this point. And so this reduces the cost of the contract by eliminating that work from the scope of work.
Okay.
This
And so,
time,
yeah, reduces the contract by $3,600.
All right.
I move that we approve the change order to reduce the ceiling scope of work in the homeowner's home, which reduces the contract value.
I'll second that motion.
there's no further discussion. I'll call for the vote. Alderwoman Dent,
Yes.
Alderman Whalen,
Yes.
Alderman Letchworth.
Yes.
Next up, Resolution 5-2025.
Resolution number 5-2025, Resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the Missouri Department of Natural Resources Clean Water State Revolving Fund Program for financial assistance under the Missouri Clean Water Law, Chapter 644 RSMO.
Do you want me to address it, Stacy, or do you want to?
Okay, so this is for the Phase 2B upgrades. The city did apply for funding through the state revolving fund back in 2023. The Clean Water Commission has placed our project on their 2025 budget and have obligated the loan and the grant funds to the city. We must enter into a binding loan commitment by September 30th, or the funds will expire. So just in case of any delays in the timing, we need to reapply for these funds to allow the funds to be set aside for their 2026 funding cycle. So that's what this is about.
I mean,
All right,
Stacy and I,
it's done.
either one would stand for any questions.
No. I don't.
Good.
All
We
right,
hope,
thank
we
you.
hope this isn't necessary, but it's a safeguard.
Right.
I hope so too. It's an awful lot. This time, do I have a motion for Resolution 5-2025?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 5-2025.
Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
There's no further discussion. I'll call for the vote. Alderman Whalen,
Yes.
Alderman Letchworth,
Yes.
and Alderwoman Dent.
Yes.
Next up is Resolution 6-2025.
Resolution number 6-2025, a resolution authorizing the mayor or authorized representative to sign the contract between Resolve IT Technology Management and the city of Salem, Missouri.
So of course, this is the bid that you previously approved.
Right.
Here this evening, same information.
All right. This time, do I have a motion for Resolution 6-2025?
I make a motion to approve Resolution 6-2025.
I second the motion.
This time, I'll call for the vote. Alderman Letchworth,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dent,
Yes.
Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
All right. Next up is the first reading of bills, Bill number 3647.
Bill number 3647, an ordinance establishing rates for electric services provided by the city of Salem, Missouri.
Okay, so this ordinance, this is a little bit of a housekeeping item. Back this past summer, we had you approve the new rates, which was removing the service availability fees on the electric. And that was, yeah, just an issue of lettering. It was my fault, I didn't put all of the letters that were in that section of code in there, and unfortunately then it got changed from items C, D, and E in that section to A, B, and C. When we submitted it to E-code, they overwrote A and B.
Okay.
Eliminated them. So this is just putting us back in where we should be with this, okay? And it specifically references demand rates for customers.
Right.
So that's what this is about.
So it is putting back the original language.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Next item up, Bill number 3648.
Bill number 3648, an ordinance clarifying responsibilities and adding a definition of owner for water and sewage meters installed to determine the actual sewage discharge.
So this item, we had previously spoken, we had Mr. Radford come and speak
Yes.
to you all about the car wash, the situation going on there. I'd also had conversations with Mr. Weber about this, and we determined that there's this section of code that if we just did a little bit of cleanup, defined what an owner is specifically for this section. We already use a similar process that's allowed per this code for commercial customers as well as residential customers who have landscaping and therefore choose, they, at their expense, install a second water meter. And then we, at the point where their irrigation system breaks off from their residential or their commercial service. So it's at their expense, they purchase that water meter, but then we use the readings from that to subtract the gallons that actually go down into our sewage system, and we bill them on that adjusted amount, okay? So this, with this cleanup, this would also apply and give an option for the car wash or other industries who have a similar situation where they don't return as much. They could, at the owner's expense, install a sewage flow meter. Again, that would be theirs, and then we would use that to actually bill them sewer. And again, it's already in our code, we're just kind of tightening up those definitions a little bit.
Okay.
I move to approve.
Yeah, it's just a first read,
All right,
yeah.
so that sounds like a pretty
Calm down, Tiger.
I like his style.
All right. Next up is the first and second readings. First up is bill number 3642.
Bill number 3642, an ordinance authorizing the execution of task order number 19 for the 2024 flood disaster response between the City of Salem, Missouri and CM Archer Group, PC, doing business as Archer Elgin. Permission to read, second reading by caption only.
Yes, please.
Bill number 3642, an ordinance authorizing the execution of task order number 19 for the 2024 flood disaster response between the City of Salem, Missouri and CM Archer Group, PC, doing business as Archer Elgin.
So
Thank you.
would you like for Stacy or I to talk about it?
If one of you wouldn't mind, either one.
So this
So-
item, of course, is in response to the November flooding. And, the damage that we had occur at the wastewater treatment plant. Archer Elgin has been very helpful in assisting us with, how do we move forward? Again, the grant application we just spoke about a bit ago was one of those. And so this just gets it formalized as a task order under our contract with them instead of just kind of being open range. This defines terms.
Pretty much just to help us out when we have events like this,
Yes.
that they can come in and
Yes.
help.
And again, we still don't know just yet the full extent of what damage might be there as we bring different components. I mean, we're fully operational, but there are certain components that because of the time of year that we're not utilizing yet. So we still don't know the full extent of what might be damaged, so.
All right. This time, does the board have any questions?
No.
All right. Do I have a motion for bill number 3642?
Nope, you're good, sorry.
Pardon me?
You're good.
I make a motion to approve Bill 3642.
And do I have a second?
I second the motion.
This time I'll call for the vote. Alderman Whalen,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dent,
Yes.
and Alderman Letchworth.
Yes.
Next up, bill number 3643.
Bill number 3643, an ordinance authorizing the execution of task order number 20 for the Bone Break Sewer Realignment Project between the City of Salem, Missouri and CM Archer Group, PC, doing business as Archer Elgin. Permission to read second reading by caption only.
Yes, please.
Bill number 3643, an ordinance authorizing the execution of task order number 20 for the Bone Break Sewer Realignment Project between the City of Salem, Missouri and CM Archer Group, PC, doing business as Archer Elgin.
Okay, this item, of course, we've talked quite a bit about the Bone Break Project. This item, again, getting it in a task order so that they can officially start moving forward, getting final design ready for us for that. They have done the initial survey of the route for the new line, but that's not finalized yet. So, still working to get all of that final detail from Archer Elgin so that we can get that easement agreement moving forward with Bone Break. And of course, that's first steps before we do any actual work on it.
Any discussion from the board?
None for me.
All right. Do I have a motion for bill number 3643?
It's my honor to make a motion to approve Bill 3643 that's been long overdue, and the citizens on the East Ward have suffered long enough.
I second that motion.
From this time, I will call for the vote. Alderman Whalen,
Yes.
Alderman Letchworth,
Yes.
and Alderwoman Dent.
Yes.
Next up, bill number 3644.
Bill number 3644, an ordinance amending section 110.170, meeting times of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Salem, Missouri. Permission to read second reading by caption only.
Yes, please.
An ordinance, Bill number 3644, an ordinance amending section 110.170, meeting times of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Salem, Missouri.
Okay.
Okay, so this ordinance amendment is to remove the language that ties our meetings to whether or not Salem RED Schools has canceled school due to weather. So it leaves the language, let's see, I thought I had it in here, I can pull it up real quick, where, so it eliminates that language. So it leaves it that the mayor, with the approval of the president of the Board of Aldermen, has the authority to cancel or postpone meetings due to emergencies and inclement weather. So it leaves it with our folks and not dependent upon another outside entity.
All right. Is there any discussion from the board?
Nope.
And do I have a motion for bill number 3644?
I move that we approve bill number 3644.
And do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
This time I will call for the vote. Alderwoman Dent,
Yes.
Alderman Letchworth,
Yes.
Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
Next up is bill number 3645.
Bill number 3645, an ordinance amending section 122.040, notices of meetings of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Salem, Missouri. Permission to read second reading by caption only.
Yes, please.
Bill number 3645, an ordinance amending section 122.040, notices of meetings of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Salem, Missouri.
Okay. Thank you.
This ordinance amendment is basically a housekeeping item. We had under our land use section of codes, this section of definitions, which still calls for posting to the bulletin boards at City Hall. So just updating that language to the city administrative offices, so.
So instead of posting over here, we move it over there.
That's
correct?
what we've been doing.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we're just changing the language that reflects that.
Right.
so. All right, this time do I have a motion for bill number 3645?
I move that we approve bill number 3645.
I'll second that motion. Sorry. I'll second it.
Just to be safe, rather safe than sorry, do we have any discussion? Okay, never hurts to ask. This time I will call for the vote. Alderwoman Dent,
Yes.
Alderman Whalen,
Yes.
and Alderman Letchworth.
Yes.
Last but not least, bill number 3646.
Bill number 3646, an ordinance amending section 425.040, definitions under urban redevelopment of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Salem, Missouri. Permission to read second reading by caption only.
Yes, please.
Bill number 3646, an ordinance amending section 425.040, definitions under urban redevelopment of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Salem, Missouri.
Thank you.
I believe Stacy
Yes.
went over these changes last time, but do you need,
And just refresh our memory if you wouldn't care. Just a brief summary. Okay.
Okay, so this is the mid-year budget adjustments. The details are in your packet under Attachment A, with a brief explanation next to each line item as to why the budget adjustments are needed. You will see several adjustments for the city's general liability insurance, That quote for that insurance came in after the fiscal year '25 budget was approved, and the quote came in significantly more than we anticipated. So the overall increases to revenue is $731,000, with $480,000 of that being an insurance reimbursement for storm hail damage claims. And then an increase in expenditures of $360,000, with $104,000 of that being that general liability insurance. So the overall fund balance increase is $371,000.
Okay. Thank you, Stacy. This time I'll open it up for discussion. If there is any.
I'll just add quickly, when you're watching the budget, those last three lines down there, they tell you the total increase in revenues was $731,000. Total increase in expenditures is $360,000. So,
We're
if
still
you're gonna
ahead.
have a change in stuff, you definitely want to change in that direction, where your revenues are more than your expenditures, so.
This time, do I have a motion for bill number 3646?
I move to approve the mid-year budget adjustments listed in attachment A.
Do I have a second?
Hold on, Mayor, sorry,
Wrong
point of
line.
order, real quick. Our clerk has not read the title for this bill.
Oh,
The 3646 is about the definitions.
okay, so,
Yeah, yeah, I haven't read 3640,
Right, that's what I
Yeah.
was saying.
oh,
right.
Yeah, we're on
So we- yeah, we-
3646.
So
yeah.
just before you guys vote on
On
this,
this,
she needs
you-
to read the title.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just make sure we're like we need to be.
We don't have a vote on 3646.
Okay. So do you want to do the second reading of 3640?
Right
So
here.
now you have me confused.
Yeah,
I'm confused as well.
So we need to read the title first before you do the second, or the approval of
So
that,
this goes
correct?
here, and that goes here. You didn't write it, that's why you got confused. I just read that one.
Okay, would you like to go ahead and do the second reading of bill number 3640?
Okay.
And then I'll backtrack back to 3646, so we can kind of get back on track, is that right?
Yeah, we
Okay.
need a
That's the
vote.
best way to do
Do you
it.
have any questions about 3646, I guess is what I'm, before, and then you can,
Well,
and
I
then you
I
can vote.
don't at this time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Catherine, do you have anything?
no,
Okay.
I'm lost, so.
Do you want me
Okay,
to do
yeah,
the second?
go ahead and do
Okay.
the second reading of bill number 3640.
Sorry. Bill number 3640, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the city of Salem, Missouri, beginning July 1, 2024, and appropriating funds pursuant thereto.
We have the,
We skipped 3645.
does he need to make the motion again?
No,
Yeah, you will have to
I've
do,
read all
for,
this.
make the motion for 3646, but we need to we'll have to start like at the beginning for 3640 because of the second reading.
Right.
Because it's the title.
Right.
Then you have to do the.
I got you.
budget, doesn't it? It has me confused. All right. So at this time, do I have a motion for bill number 3640?
Make a motion to approve bill number 3640.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
And I will call for the vote. Alderman Whalen,
Yes.
Alderman Letchworth,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dent.
Yes.
All right, now let's go back to bill number 3646. Do I have a motion to approve bill number 3646, which is the mid-year budget adjustments?
That's the mid-year. So I'll make a motion to approve the mid-year budget adjustments, 3646.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
I will call for the vote. Alderman Letchworth,
Yes.
Alderman Whalen,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dent.
Yes.
All right. I think next up is reports of city officials, boards, and committees. Right? Okay? All right, thought I'd ask. All right. Administrator Burbridge, you were up first, ma'am.
So I'll just do a real short, brief report here. In your packet, I think it's the last page of your packet, I have for you the annual net metering report for 2024. So this is required by statute that you guys receive an annual report about. So these are solar customers is what this is, okay? So, so you'll see I've not identified individual customers, just A, B, and C. You'll see in the next column there, the installed kilowatt capacity of each of their systems. So for a total installed capacity of 26.7. The number of kilowatt hours used, so what we sold to each of those customers is listed there. And then the last column is the kilowatt hours that the customers placed on our system. Okay. So total energy that we received from those solar customers is 16,079 kilowatt hours. Okay. Just to put that into perspective, so 16,000 kilowatt hours, in the budget, we projected that we would sell 49 million kilowatt hours. So it's just a very small drop with our three customers. And then included on here was our previous year's peak demand of 12.99, so that we had charged extra for. I believe this last month was the last of 12 months. How that works is after 12 months, if you haven't established a new peak, then you drop down to the next highest. It remains to be seen whether we drop down or not, given the cold snaps we've had just recently.
Right.
So, but yeah, I was, kind of hopeful, but I'm not gonna hold my breath on it. But anyway, so, utility committee will have the same report in their packet, just so that they see it. But that is, like I said, just to give you a summary of what's happened in the past year for solar customers.
Okay, thank you.
Before I do my report, Ms. Stacy Houston, would you like to come on up and give our financial report?
Get mileage.
Okay, so this is our monthly update on our sales tax revenue, and this is what we have collected through February. The overall sales tax revenues are up around 10% for the same time frame as last year. July through February, general fund sales taxes brought in just over $2.3 million. Parks and Rec sales tax revenues brought in $423,000, with capital improvement sales tax revenues bringing in around $564,000 so far for this fiscal year. One more.
That'll make me a second to look at it.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, and then this slide is an overall look at the utility usage and revenues, and this is through January. Year-to-date of this fiscal year, we have billed nearly 29.4 million kilowatt hours. That is down slightly compared to the same time frame as last year. In terms of electric revenues, we have billed just under 4 million and have collected just over 3.8 million year-to-date. Our purchase of power, this is what the city pays MPUA to provide power to us. We paid out just over 2.6 million. That is a little less than what we have spent this time last year. Water consumption, we have billed just over 74.2 million gallons. That's up slightly compared to last year. Water revenues billed is around 492,000, with 482,000 being collected in water revenues year to date. On sewer consumption, we have billed around 66.7 million gallons. Sewer revenues billed is at 762,000, and sewer revenues collected year to date is 731,000. Okay, and this page is a list of all of the city's funds. It shows the activity in each fund for July through January. It shows the beginning balance of this fiscal year, which was July 1st, and then the revenues and expenditures and any transfers between funds. Then the last column shows the ending balance in each fund as of January 31st, and a total fund balance comes to $13 million. Okay, one more slide. Okay, Okay, and this last slide, this page shows the total fund revenues and expenditures compared to what we have budgeted. So through January, the end of January, we are at 58% of the fiscal year. So revenue and expenditures are tracking behind what we have expected for this point of the budget year. That is mostly due to grant projects. Revenues and expenditures are low for those projects because some of the projects have just started or getting ready to start. So we will start seeing more grant revenue and expenditures on the grant projects. So revenues, we've collected 48% of what we had budgeted. With expenditures, we've spent 43% of what we have budgeted. Any questions?
I don't-
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you.
Next up is my report. You can sit a little bit longer there, Mr. Payne. I only got one thing, so don't get comfortable. I just wanted to let everybody know that the AARP is doing free tax filing. They have volunteers over at the Salem Community Center, which is the Armory. Healthy Dent County staff is currently taking appointments until April the 4th. And if you'd like any help, I'll spit it out here in a minute, help with your taxes for free, you can call and schedule an appointment at 573-729-8163. As I always do, I'd like to thank all of our city staff during this last winter weather event that we had. You guys do a remarkable job trying to keep the streets clean, the lights on, and the water from not boiling up like oil out of the ground. Other than that, that's all that I have tonight. So, Mr. Payne, come on up, you're next.
Okay, so I was going to kick off with wastewater treatment plant. We have our request for bid out for fence repair around that. So we've had a pre-bid meeting and had some vendors come out and take a look. So we can get that going for to continue working on our FEMA reimbursement needs. Daily testing continues out at the wastewater treatment plant. Some of our guys went to the NPUA conference, one wastewater, one former water department individual, to make sure that they have their qualifications in case someone were to drop out of the running as far as running with their licenses of the plant. So we're kind of covering our bases. Water department repaired several water service lines and water main breaks. Obviously, the cold snap shifted the ground and crushed or ruptured some of our lines. So a lot of work going on there. The electric departments worked with street department to install. They're working with the street department to install a power run out at the airport. The airport board had approved a electric powered gate opener out there, so we're working towards that, getting bids for that for them so they can have their gate opener. The continued street light repairs. I appreciate folks that call in and let us know that they've got street lights out in their neighborhood. We don't always catch it if it's an eye that goes bad or a light that goes bad. The PD's given us a list as well, so we'll just continue down that road of jumping on those as soon as we can. Our line tree trimming crew continues work across town. Once again, as I'd said in past meeting, they come out full force in the morning. They try to get your trees trimmed and cleared, and then they come and collect that after the lunch hour. So if you see a pile of brush sitting out there, they're coming back for it. Construction crew, they've still got some final drywall work to finish on the animal shelter, but they finished up the drywall work on the airport pilot's lounge and installed a mini split system that was requested. They've also worked on various concrete projects across town when the weather was permitting. So, for example, we just had a main break up by Pizza Hut. So they took care of that, and the water department took care of it, and the concrete crew's getting the sidewalk back in because that's a highly traveled sidewalk area. Let's see, construction also installed roll-up security windows and 2 new steel doors on the concession stand at the Al Brown Field. So also helping the Parks Department make sure that their things are secure. Street Department, I'll just launch into the street thing real quick here. huge effort with all the departments on the snow clearing and stuff. It's all hands on deck for a snow event like that. And then the mayor got a hold of me and said, let's close down 4th so folks can slide on the hill. I did see, unfortunately, I saw a couple complaints that as the weather warmed up, moving towards Friday, that we took the snow away, but it would have been slush by the afternoon and then a real mess on Saturday or Sunday, or, and so we just went ahead and took care of it. The snow removal, I did get a few other complaints about why didn't we take care of sidewalks. We are not set up to plow sidewalks. We don't run side by sides, or, it was gone within 2 days. So would I love to see that for walkability of Salem? Yes. I want to see people out walking their dogs and enjoying the sidewalks, but it's just something that, financially, I don't even know if that makes sense when it melts so quickly here. Anyway, kudos to my guys. Thank you, Mayor. I did appreciate, they all get out there. They really go to town. That night of the snow event, they worked until 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and everything was gumming up, and the trucks were gumming up, and keeping the mechanic busy. And they just shut down at 9 o'clock, came back in early, and reattacked it. So I think all the secondary streets were done within 28, 30 hours thereafter. So they do the best they can. So street department will continue on. They went today and got a second load of asphalt, so they'll start pavement patching again. So don't hesitate to call if you've got a spot that you don't think's on the radar or hasn't caught our attention, and we'll make sure we get after it. So they repaired the access road at the old landfill, and yeah, that's it. Mechanic, like I said, kept all our equipment going and also helped out with the snow removal stuff as well. If you notice in the trucks, it's always teams of 2 to make sure we got that side guy spotting, because we've had our crews going down the road and, found somebody laying face down in the ditch that would have been hit by, had we not had a secondary assistant kind of helping pay attention. There's a lot of stuff that these guys catch that they don't whack with the plow trucks. So, and as far as the cemetery goes, update, he's excavated several grave sites since we last spoke, and he's keeping up on cleanup out there, making sure it looks nice for the public. So that's the quick down and dirty. Does anybody have any questions?
I just only got one real quick. I've had a bunch of people ask me about this, but did we ever nail down a date to do the limbs?
We discussed it. I drive the streets as much as possible, looking around to see what's been put out by the sidewalk, and I haven't seen a lot of collection at this point. So we thought we would, with the warmer weather, hopefully folks could get to it. We pushed it out to the
Starting March 24th.
24th. Yeah. So, we would do that cleanup, and then, in May we'll have the spring cleanup. So, but the message for the public before we come out and get that stuff, I've taken some photos. You can't drag a 10, 12-foot tree out there by the road. It has to be cut up into 4-foot sections and such. So our guys help the public.
Right.
So.
And we've actually, Devin in the corner over there today was working on the bill inserts for the utility bills, and on the back side it will be all the details about the pickup.
Okay.
Please thank your crews for the great job that they did on the snow removal.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
It was great. And secondly, a couple of years ago, I asked about a light over in the Housing Authority, and they couldn't decide whether it was the Housing Authority's responsibility or the city's. And this past week, I'm pleased to say that the little lady that requested this called and said, I have a light. Thank you. I can see. So if you had something to do with that, I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'll pass that along to the electric crew. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, I'll continue to build a street light list for you, Steve.
All right. I appreciate
All right.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Melissa, look at her. She's so eager. Come on up, Melissa. I know.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I apologize for not being here in January. We had basketball going on during that time. I have very young referees. I didn't have any adults this year, and I don't feel comfortable leaving them alone. So we had basketball going on in January. We had 14 teams, which equaled 52 ball games during the month of January, and we have those games at the Armory. Right now, we are preparing for soccer. I have soccer drafts tomorrow. In the last couple of days, I've been calling and texting a bajillion people, trying to find coaches. So out of 27 coaches, we have 25 right now. We may just have to go with that number. Unfortunately, when we have to go with not as many coaches, we have more kids on teams, which I don't like to do, but
Yeah.
when you don't have any options, you got to do what you got to do. So hopefully that'll encourage people to step up and coach. Even if you're not super aware of rules, we can help you, and we have people that can kind of guide and give some direction for that. But we always need more coaches. Put that in there. Hopefully it makes the paper, right?
Right.
If I only had the time.
Right. We do have a park board meeting this Thursday. We have the park board meeting so we can look at the bid packets for the ground cover repairs at the park. With that being said, we did open the park, but we've closed the playground. So we do have security fencing around the playground because it's still unsafe to be played on. I know people don't like that answer, but until we can get it fixed and safe, it will be closed. But the park is open, so if they want to walk or play tennis or whatever, they can still enter the park. We have replaced the tennis nets too at the tennis courts, so the new tennis season for our 80 should have some nice new nets. Let's see, Ethan and Dustin helped with the snow removal too. I want to thank them for helping. They get out in the side-by-side and kind of get to the places that the big trucks can't get to. So they are at the Armory, they go around the admin office and the park areas. Let's see. We've been working with Lisa Parks at the center, making sure we have times for the guards to be recertified that need to be recertified or just regular certification. I've also requested, since last year, our guards didn't get any practice or get to use their skills after just becoming certified. They are going to allow our guards to come in for free to have a training day, just to kind of refresh their skills. So I was very happy to hear that because we want them to be prepared. We're planning for the pool to open Memorial Day weekend. I know we've had a lot of questions if it was going to be open. I had mentioned previously that all that work had been completed. It was just the liner that needed to be repaired. We do have some more work coming up. The media is going to be changed. We have a scheduled at the beginning of March for, it's Westport Pools. They just changed their name. I can't remember the name. They got bought out, but they'll be coming in and changing the media. I believe that requires a hole to be cut in the top portion of the decking to get under to the pumps. But they should have that done, and then we'll do the opening procedures.
And that is a bid and a contract that you all did approve several months back.
Yes.
That's right.
Yep. And that's all I have for you.
That shows you I'm getting old, but Sally's got to put a reminder.
I say that's all I have for you. I have one more thing. We do have a date for the Salem Mo Spectacular again. We're hoping to host it again. It's for October 25th of 2025. We've had a lot of questions what the gate fee went to and all that, with what the sponsors went to. The sponsors sponsored balloons, and that's what it went out, and the security fencing, and we had to bring some electric down and rope off parking and all that stuff. So there were expenditures. We did have a gate fee, and we have that in an account to roll into this next event. We're hoping to bring more things. We're getting ready to meet again. We have some ideas, and everything, you think you have some money because you've got a nice gate fee, but everything costs so much. So you have some money, but maybe not enough for exactly what we want to do, but we're working to make it bigger and better.
Oh, that's greatly appreciated to see that type of
Yeah.
event. I mean,
Yes.
for us in our community, it's been so long,
It was exciting, and it was very
was.
well supported, and we would greatly appreciate that, because when you build something that big, you really want people to come out.
And we greatly appreciate you and Parsons Chiropractic for,
Yes, thank you.
doing that.
Greatly appreciate them for bringing the idea.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility, I'm sorry,
No.
are you done?
No.
Okay.
I was-
Is a possibility to extend the pool closing past the time? I know that lifeguards, we've talked.
Yeah.
Lifeguards are a problem. Is there any possibility that that can be extended past the opening of school, like maybe, the middle of September?
I would have to check with who we have certified and
Okay.
see what their availability is. The problem is that they're all in sports and different requirements,
Right.
and so it's hard to find people that are certified to be able to come in and open that up.
Would you be willing to send out an inquiry into the community? I know that there are people in the community that have kept their certification up to be
We-
lifeguards during
Well,
that period of time.
We put out we put out a notice in the paper for people to apply to become guards, so they would need to be employed.
Okay,
Yeah, they would need to
During
go
that
follow
timeframe.
that same process.
Okay.
Those will be forthcoming as soon as we get job descriptions reviewed and get them posted here within the next, hopefully this week.
But yeah,
Okay.
if we have adults that want to be lifeguards, I would love to have more adults.
I'll let you know.
Adults are good, but that's all I have.
Thank you, Melissa.
You're welcome.
Next up, board reports. Alderman Letchworth.
I have nothing to report.
Alderwoman Dent.
I have no report.
Alderman Whalen.
No report.
I feel like an overachiever. All right. Well, let's finalize this up. Last item. Motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
I second.
I will call for the vote. Alderwoman Dent.
Yes.
Alderman Whalen.
Yes.
Alderman Letchworth.
Yes.
Thank you all for attending.